Before we get very far into our next story, we do have a warning for you tonight. What you're about to see and hear may not be suitable for children. Tonight, take a walk in their world.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Transpicuous News. It is February 23rd. I got a doozy for you today. So, sometimes things come up, as I say, there I was just sitting there on Facebook, minding my own business, and a news story comes along. And you think, okay, well, that's fucking ridiculous. It's worth a giggle. But didn't I just see almost the exact same article last week as well? Wait a second. What we're going to talk about tonight is the Mandela Effect. Now, for those of you who follow the shit that I do, the discussions that we've been having on the One People Roundtable show with my co-host, Lisa M. Harrison, this is something we've been talking about for close on 2 years now. And we've watched it come in waves as certain Mandela effects turn up. And with that comes a wave of people who kind of wake up to the whole thing, go, oh, what the hell? So we've watched it wax and wane back and forth. What I haven't seen, though, is the mainstream media talking about it. Or at least not like they've been talking about it in the last month or so. CNBC, about as mainstream as you can bloody well get, puts out an article today. Physicists assure us that we're not living in an alternate reality where Trump is president. Now, and we'll discuss this. We're going to discuss this article because it's just, it kind of is a perfect representation of every mainstream coverage that even mentions the Mandela effect, right? There's a theory going around online that CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, experiments have caused the world to shift into an alternate reality where Donald Trump has become president. So first of all, like little hit against Trump because, it's what they do. As most people would agree, this is clearly can be labeled fake news. I mean, seriously, hysterical. And I love these articles because there's not, for what should be, the media represents itself, journalists represent themselves as being, investigative, and the reporters go in and they research and they dig in to find out. I mean, we all know it's all lies and propaganda and agenda, but this is just, every one of these articles seems to have been written by the same backstage person, right? So let's listen. Here we go. They go on about, the Mandela effect. Trump theorists cite the Mandela effect as a phenomenon that occurs when large groups of people believe something happened, even though evidence shows it isn't true. Number one, more of these incidents have occurred since CERN was established, suggesting that its particle physics experiments are causing the world to shift into parallel universes. I think it's pretty much a minority of people who look at the Mandela effects actually believe that. But, they always got to latch on to something. And then they go through the whole thing, and it really is a poor attempt at a put down. Like, this article is so poorly written that even its sarcasm is soggy. What's probably really happening is that people have lapses in memory, especially when they aren't paying close attention to details. And that's their sole explanation for the Mandela effect. One sentence. In any case, CERN's research isn't focused on finding ways to travel to different dimensions. I'm pretty sure no one said it was. Yeah, pretty sure no one said that CERN's trying to travel to different dimensions. Apparently CNBC should do their own research about the articles they posted about CERN breaking through into other dimensions through black holes, et cetera, 8 months ago. Same news media. But, I digress. So anyways, this article came out, and I read it because I knew what it was going to be like, and I was like, okay, let's just see. Except that I read an article almost identical to this one last week. So I decided that's interesting. I'm just going to do a Google search for the news, entering the words Mandela Effect. And I was shocked at the amount of mainstream media right now, in the last, let's say, month and a half, 6 weeks, are talking about the Mandela Effect. Now, yeah, granted, 99.9% of the reports are, bunk. Really, just bunk. It's always basically comes down to you just don't remember. And some of them go a little farther and they go into, like a crowd, like hallucinations, et cetera, et cetera. But for the most part, you just don't remember. But the articles just go on, and this is the one that I'd seen last week. They've gone on and on and on talking about the same repeating stuff. They talk about always the Berenstain Bears, Mandela, of course, and his death. But all the examples that they give are what we call the fluff Mandela Effect examples. Is it Jif or is it Jiffy? Is it Berenstein? Is it Berenstain? Sex in the City, Sex and the City. Really, who gives a shit? These are so vastly unimportant in the greater scheme of things. But that's always what the focus of these articles is on. This one here by Slate. Mainstream propaganda rag. Why so many people think Eli Whitney, cotton gin inventor, was black. This is not, I'm sorry, I had this argument with people years ago. So all of them bring it up. They'll bring up a particular topic, like this one here about Eli Whitney, or about Donald Trump, or about pick a topic. And then they all go back to the fluff examples of what the Mandela Effect is, and it all comes back to, it's just fucking bullshit. People just don't remember. Even Cosmo is fucking talking about the Matrix. And again, the examples that they give about the Matrix, about Mandela Effect, the examples they give, completely pathetic. Again, it's like the Berenstein Bears, or do you remember Looney Tunes and Looney Tunes? It's fluff. But when magazines like Cosmo are talking about the Mandela Effect, or this one here, which literally blew my mind, this is a sports magazine doing an article about a couple of sports stars, and the very last paragraph says something along the lines here of Joseph changes Jared's worldview, however, by introducing him to the Mandela Effect theory. Jared has his own absurd question to add to the specific segment. By the time the guys get to it, they aren't too sure if Sinbad was in a genie movie at all. When a sports network page starts throwing the words Mandela Effect in the middle of articles, this to me means something is seriously being pushed. Seriously pushing that agenda. And again, there is no serious discussion. No one talks about the heavy-duty Mandela effects. Questions that have come up. Oh, no one talks about the Lord's Prayer. No one talks about what the universal blood donor type is. No one talks about these things because at that point, your audience is going to flip their fucking lid. But they don't ever bring those up. Yet they're determined to really, really spread the word around. It's kind of like they can't beat them, so they got to join them. But they got to do it in such a way of co-opt it. We're going to talk about the Mandela effect so that now everyone who already knows about it, we're going to make sure everyone knows about it, but we're going to just make sure it's fringe stuff. It's conspiracy theory. It's, you just don't remember. You all have Alzheimer's. You just don't remember. Interesting. So like I said, I just wanted to bring that up. I'm going to keep my eyes on the mainstream over the next while because I have a feeling there could be a few other things come out because it's their template, right? Take the piss out of something, co-opt it where you can, and just try to distract people away from it. Because, you know, just all them crazy conspiracy theorists. Because you don't remember jack shit. It's true. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. I'm back again. Just as I closed off this computer, I had a little thought that hit me. You know, well, there's a bunch of the articles that the mainstream media is putting out talking about CERN. Oh yeah, they're blaming CERN for this. Not one article that I've read ever by the mainstream media, and they're all taking the piss out of the Mandela effect. Not one of them has brought up the theory that this is a simulated reality, that we are perhaps existing within a holographic matrix. I find that really, really interesting. We got the media talking about that all over the place. Elon Musk here, and other people over there. Everyone's talking about simulated matrix holographic realities, that we could be inside a video game. And yet, at no point did they put 2 and 2 together. I think that's kind of interesting. And a challenge. The mainstream media. If you really want to cover this, why don't you sit down with some people who actually know what they're talking about on this subject? Why don't you sit down and visit the meat and the potatoes of the Mandela effect? Not Sex in the City, Sex and the City, not Berenstain fucking Bears. Let's talk about the real heavy-duty Mandela effects, like the changes in World War II, like all kinds of major shit that's going on in people's own personal lives right now. So when you're ready to talk and actually do some research and maybe some independent investigative journalism, give me a call. I can hook you up with a few people. Just saying.